And welcome back to the Entrepreneur Hour, featuring my buddy Bruce Krebs. How are you, Bruce?
Well, I'm just tired of it raining. This is, we're gonna have record rain for the year. But hey, other than that, hey, the Christmas holidays, everything is good. Coming to the new year, thinking about what are we gonna do in 2016.
I can tell you this: only you can make that decision. And then when you're driving down the road or you're listening at work, but it's going to be you to make the decision. It's the Chinese old proverb is, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And really, it's one step at a time. And as an entrepreneur, I can tell you, I look at the big picture, but I don't often think of anything beyond the very next step. And I think that's what scares people. Is they look at the huge big what if and they talk themselves out of becoming independent.
Right.
So
self-sufficient.
You have to make a decision to move to the next step, and then the next step, like you're climbing stairs. Not, well, what if I get up there and there's a monster in the room or somebody with a gun or I'm going to fall? You just step by step. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, you're talking exactly what the problem is, in my opinion, is people are here at the end of the year and they're looking at their lives and saying, what have I done? You don't like your job. You don't like the hours you're working. You don't like your boss. You see that you're not making enough money. You're not building equity. There's a lot of things. And then you're worried about your future, whether it be retirement or whether it be sending the kids to college or weddings and all the things that worry you. And you start to say, I'd like to do something on my own. And right there, people become paralyzed with that four-letter word called fear. Now, we know, though, that fear is really false evidence appearing real. And you're right. People have to take the first step because you have to learn more to earn more. And I'm a big believer in that. And that's why I do what I do. But if you're looking at 2016 and saying, I'm going to keep doing the same exact thing and expecting different results, we know that's the definition of insanity. That's not going to happen.
Isn't it beyond just earning more, but being self-sufficient and independent? Because people in business love what they do and they brag about it. And in some cases, they live for it. I'm telling you my personal stories when I decided back in 93 to leave my big corporate job, making a lot of money, a lot of perks, to start my first radio station, a little station in the middle of nowhere that wasn't even on the air. And my entire family thought I was a lunatic, but that was my dream. Nothing was going to stop me. Money had nothing to do with it. And the possibility is you could lose everything you've ever worked for and fail and fall flat on your face. But what if you never did it? What if we're only on this earth for so long? But with what you sell, it's not even taking that big a risk. This is almost a win-win because on someone's signature, they can get up to $150,000 without personal guarantees and collateral. And then you give them a proven formula. So, I mean, Bruce, this isn't really even a big decision as far as I'm concerned. A big decision is quitting your high-paying job and risking everything, going into a venture you know nothing about and putting everything on the line, including a personal guarantee. And that's what you're not talking about in franchising. It's the exact opposite. So the first step is calling you to discuss, what are you going to do for yourself in 2016?
Well, that's a really great thought, because when people come to me, they've said, I've been thinking about doing something on my own. I've been looking, go through the internet, I go through all these websites, and you get hopelessly lost.
Right.
I did that myself. And because you don't know who's good and who's right for you, let alone the economy, the demographics of the area you live in, and all kinds of different criteria. So when people come to me, the first thing, it isn't even making a decision about doing something on your own. When people come to me, Sab, what they want to say is, what's out there?
Right.
What are the kind of things that are out there that fit my criteria, my personality, my skills and strengths? So if I want to do something on my own, either now or in the far distant future, what's out there is a fit for me? Because what you're really talking about is establishing a plan B for your life. Because once you go through the process I help my clients through, then they can have a plan B, so they can either quit their job and start something now in 6 months, a year, or never. But I got to tell you, what wakes you up in the middle of the night when you're in corporate America? You're worried about getting downsized or right-sized or capsized or the company closing or merging or all kinds of different things. and we wake up in the middle of the night because of uncertainty. And it's very consoling to learn what's out there so that you can decide if you ever want to do something on your own and be self-sufficient or not.
Well, and it comes down to not having control over your destiny. I mean, do you want to go through the rest of your life not having control of your destiny without even questioning what else is out there? And I think it's right. We'll wait till the end of the show normally give the information out, but I think it's right now very important to give out your website, to share this with people, and your phone number. So can we do that right now?
Yeah, my office number is 423-875-5621. And my website is bkrebs at esourcecoach.com. That's my email address. And you can get to my website from there.
Now, I've made the decision that I've had enough. I had enough of the boss. I had enough of being unsure as to whether now that I'm going to be turning 50, I'm going to have a job. And it's time for me to cash in my 401k. Do I have to do that if I want to start a franchise and look for my future and possible retirement?
No, it used to be. I mean, I've been in this business 13 years now, and it used to be that financing was difficult. You would go to a bank, or you'd have to use your home equity, or you'd have to use your IRA or 401k, where the program that the SBA put in place last year in March of 2014 is just 92% of my clients today are using this program because you can use the government's money for 10 years. And basically, what happens, Sab, is that in the past, if you wanted an SBA loan, Small Business Administration loan, and you wanted $150,000, you had to put down 25% in cash. You had to pledge assets like equity in your house.
Right.
And there was prepayment penalties, and there was only a 6 or 7 year amortization. But the program the government put in place with the SBA was you can get up to $150,000 on your signature with no pledge of collateral, no money down, a 10-year amortization with no prepayment penalties. So basically, if it cost you $40,000 or $50,000 for a franchise fee and startup and training and corporate setup, you've got another $100,000 just sitting there to pay yourself for the first many months of startup. And particularly today, franchisors have really figured out how to get you up and running and starting to make money in your second month and third month. And so you don't need all that working capital. So if you don't need 75,000 of that, as an example, you pay it back when your business is generating repeat business and making money and so forth. But you got a big safety net. You don't have to worry about running out of money. But the real issue is you're not putting up your house. You can't lose your house. You can't lose your assets. And that's the beauty of this program that the government put into place. And this program, Sab, is so popular that there was $30 billion allocated to it, and they ran out of money in early September. And much to the credit of our government, they put in an emergency before the House, before the Senate, and then the president signed it literally in 4 days to give the SBA more money to finish 2015. And they're putting more money into the program for 2016. So, this is creating jobs. I mean, if you look at the real numbers, last month, 5.9 million Americans out of the 155 million that are in the workforce lost their jobs. Just about 6 million people either lost their jobs, quit their jobs, or there was a merger acquisition or a job change of some kind. Now, you look at that kind of number, that there's monthly that 3.5% to 4% of people are leaving their jobs, quitting their jobs, getting fired, whatever it happens to be. You better have a plan B in your life. So first of all, you have to spend the time to learn what's out there, get pre-qualified for the loan I'm talking about, and then deciding if you ever want to do something on your own. But this whole thing revolves around an article from USA Today from Monday's paper, Monday of this week. And the article was "Rise in Startups is a Good Omen for the Economy." And really, what it says is the number of U.S. business establishments where people started their own business increased by 100,000 people in the second quarter to 9.6 million. And it was up 2.8% from the previous quarter. Wow. So 100,000 people in the second quarter of this year, which is the last time they reported it, started businesses on their own. And a lot of it is because people are tired of not making enough money. the SBA programs that are in place so you can get money. And people today just don't want to settle for 10 or 12 or 14 or $20 an hour, because if you look at 85% of the jobs that are being created right now are low paying jobs. So, people are saying to themselves, I am not going to work for minimum wage or a little bit above, or work retail, or work at Volkswagen or Amazon or wherever it happens to be. And they want to do something on their own and be self-sufficient. But this is the largest annual gain since 1998, according to the Labor Department. And that's just a pretty incredible number that another 100,000 people started companies in the second quarter.
God, you want to do that? That'll be the first time you've ever done it. And that's the most dangerous thing to do. Always in a restaurant, and what happens? They fall flat on their face. And let me tell you, just because you've managed doesn't mean you can own.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, if you decide to start a business from scratch, there's an 82% chance you're going to fail in 3 years, because you got to figure everything out yourself. And by the time you figure everything out, you run out of money. Whereas I'm a big advocate of the franchise model, because you're getting a proven system to follow. But more than anything, what you're getting is their marketing program. They're going to show you how to get your clients and customers through search engine optimization, national accounts, and all the other marketing that they have. So they train you on how to do that. They turn on the SEO programs when you start up, and your national accounts kick in, and you start to get jobs and money flowing really quickly. But they train you. They give you ongoing training and support. And that's just a key factor, that you're not out there by yourself. So in the service sector of franchising, because I don't like food and retail, of course, in the service sector of franchising, there's a 96.2% success rate in 5 years. That's a huge number. And the only reason you can fail is if you try to fail, quite frankly.
Well, this is what it comes down to. You will have a success rate of what percentage if you take on a franchise and operate under you based on your history?
96.2%. I've experienced the same thing in 13 years.
96.2%. So, and you guys hit it off. You decide, this person is right for this program. And you have how many different franchisers do you promote?
Well, there's 6,900 franchises in 115 industries. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I personally like only about 40 of those.
Okay, so out of 40, you're telling them that the odds are 96% they're going to succeed.
Yep.
You don't see that in business anywhere.
No.
And one of the reasons I love Bruce's program, and Bruce, is because this is what this radio station is about. You report, the world decides. Nooganomics. We're about taking control of your life, not joining groups, not joining organizations. That doesn't work. Not even, I don't vote. I haven't voted since Reagan. Why would I waste my time to elect someone to represent or represent me? I don't need anybody representing me. I represent myself. And in that, being an entrepreneur, I don't need anybody to tell me that I'm here to represent you. I need a partner. That's what I need. So just let me tell you, where you come in is a partner. You're their partner.
Right. A good point is, one of the things you've heard me say often is an entrepreneur should not go into a franchise. And so the true entrepreneur wants to do it their way, their ideas. They're always going to search for a new method, a new standard operating procedure, a new something. They're adrenaline junkie, type A adrenaline junkies, and they shouldn't go into a franchise.
Well, it depends.
Where somebody who wants to follow a proven system, whether you're an operations person or a marketing person, or you're a military veteran, or whoever you are, if you can follow a system, then you should go into a franchise, because that gives you the safety and comfort of following their system.
But even the entrepreneur that can follow the system should look into becoming having a franchise, because, like in my case, I don't reinvent the wheel. I like to look at what has been successful before and emulate it.
Right.
And that's
different kind of entrepreneur.
That's the making of a successful businessman. And business is that. And I tell my guys all the time, why are you reinventing the wheel? Look at who's success. Prime example, McDonald's and Walmart.
Yep.
I mean, talk about two. And when did McDonald's start not becoming successful? When they strayed away from what they are. They're fast food. Be what you are and be the best at what you can be.
Right.
We target males, and I'm going to tell you, 35 to 64. That's who we target. That's who we want listening. We program to that demographic because a 13-year-old girl is not the same as a 54-year-old male. They have different tastes. They have different likes. And to believe otherwise, you are fooling yourself and you will fail. And this is what I love about your franchise program is it targets specific demographics in their business. And the one individuals that you talk about every once in a while is washing RVs, washing trucks.
Yeah.
That demographic needed that.
Absolutely.
Talk about that success story. This is incredible.
Well, there's a client of mine who was with TVA for 20 years. He got downsized, like a lot of TVA senior people did, and he realized that he just wasn't going to get a job making the kind of money he's made because, being over 50 years old and in corporate America today is not who's being hired. And he said, hey, I want to control my own destiny and do something, but he wanted something that had repeat business, that had national accounts, that had literally no competition, strong reason to be in the marketplace. And he went into a franchise called Detail Experts. And basically what he goes out and makes the calls on trucking companies or anybody who has a vehicle, whether it be a trucking company, UPS, FedEx, or fleet vehicles, or school buses, or ambulances, or limos. And his crews go in and wash those vehicles on their site. So as an example, now, if a trucking company, whether it be U.S. Express or Covenant or UPS or FedEx, they have to take and pay someone to drive that vehicle to a truck wash and wait, use 160 gallons of water, and then they have to drive it back. And there's a tremendous amount of cost to do that. And whereas his people come in every 2 to 4 weeks and wash that truck with a patented steam cleaning process. They do it inside and out, and it uses only 4 gallons of water, and it's literally the same price. So, when you talk about something that is a unique business, he's just got contracts to do school buses and limousines and RVs and campers and all these trucks that are going down our highways here that, guys are sleeping in. His guys go in and clean the inside and basically deodorizes, sanitizes them. And with the steam cleaning process, it's dry, but he also does the outside, but the truck never moves. And so that's a business where he's not doing the work. He's working on it, not in it. But what kind of business do you have where every 2 to 4 weeks you get repeat business? It's literally unheard of. So, that's the kind of business I like. It's really unique. It's different. But when you have something that's really repeat business, that is just a tremendous kind of thing to look at. And again, the 40 or so that I like have those kind of attributes. And today I say anything I show to a client should not be affected by the economy. It should have low overhead. It should have repeat business and strong reason to be against any and all competition or no competition. But the franchisor needs a very powerful marketing program. So, those are some of the ideas I can help clients with. And really, in talking about this USA article, is another article just came out was 5 really good reasons why you should start a business in 2015. The number one reason, Sab, was because you can have an easier time getting a small business loan. And so, you've got the being able to get the money, first of all. And there's also people that have just fair credit or poor credit. There's new crowdfunding programs where you can get anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 with no pledge of collateral, even if your credit score is 580, 600, 620, because for the SBA loan, your credit has to be above 675.
Okay, let's talk about that when we come back. We're with Bruce Krebs. This is the Entrepreneur Hour. Bruce's phone number is
423-875-5621.
And the website.
Go to bkrebs, Krebs, at theesource.com.
And now is the time to take action. Right now, for 2016, to become independent, don't be afraid. We added Colin Cowherd, the number one sports guy in America. And with that came a lot of his listeners to us. And I want to talk to those new listeners of Colin Cowherd in our new sports feature here over the weekend, which is NFL and some of our sports features Saturday morning. That new crowd that is now with us. I want, when we come back, Bruce, I want you to talk to those guys that are into sports and discuss why they need to make the move to become independent, to become self-sufficient, to become what they've always wanted to become in their entire life, which is control over their lives.
Right. Okay.
And we're going to do that next at Hot News Talk Radio, on the web, hotnewstalkradio.com. On YouTube, we are broadcasting live at Hot News Talk Radio. Twitter us, 2,522 followers. Thank you. Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Save up to $10,000 right now. That's right. You can save up to $10,000 on your purchase of a new Chevy, Buick, GMC, or Cadillac through the end of the year at Ledford GMC Buick in Cleveland, and get a $1,000 gift card if you purchase a new vehicle now through January 4th. At Ledford GMC Buick Cleveland, it's our biggest event of the year, the Model Closeout Event. And you could use $1,000 to help pay Santa off. Don Ledford Chevrolet in Cleveland is the fastest growing Chevy dealer in the Tennessee Valley. It's tool time at Don Ledford. Purchase any new truck or SUV by the end of the year and get your choice of a chainsaw, circular saw, jigsaw, gas yard tools, and more. If you want a real man's truck, then hop into a Sierra or Silverado. All offers are compatible with $1,000 cash back. There's over 30 programs that allow you to save up to $10,000 during Don Ledford's biggest event of the year. Save big now during Ledford's Model Closeout Event from Ledford GMC Buick in Cleveland. Don't miss it.
While politicians debate climate change and taking our guns, they leave America vulnerable to disaster. You need to act now to keep your family safe and prepared. Do you have an emergency plan? Do you have long-term storage food? Do you have the skills and mindset to survive a disaster? If not, what are you waiting for? Call P5 Preparedness right now, 423-602-2175. Do you honestly think the government is going to help you? If you do, you are wrong, dead wrong. Don't get caught unprepared. Let the experts at P5 Preparedness get you ready for any emergency or disaster situation. Today, we offer a wide range of classes for the beginner on how to prepare, as well as the expert prepper. We stock a wide range of supplies, including long-term storage food, water filtration, outdoor gear, tactical gear, and plate carriers. P5 Preparedness, East Brainerd Road between I-75 and Gun Barrel Road. You will see the Army Deuce and a Half truck, 423-602-2175, 1309 Panorama Drive, Chattanooga, P5Preparedness.com.
Have you ever thought about starting your own business? Trying to figure out which one may be right for you is a very daunting task. My name is Bruce Krebs with the Entrepreneur Source, and I can help you look at franchises or business opportunities that are a right fit for you and the economy that we live in, and that are right for the greater Chattanooga area, both demographically and competitively. If you would just like to learn more about the opportunities that may be right for you, please call me for a free assessment. My phone number is 423-875-5621. 423-875-5621.
You have an event coming up for the holidays, or maybe it is your daughter's wedding, or maybe just a church or office party, then you need to select Choo Choo Barbecue. That's correct, Choo Choo Barbecue. Whether you like pork, chicken, or beef, oh yes, Choo Choo Barbecue with their savory rub flavor. Oh my goodness, it's making me hungry right now. You add in their delicious smoked aroma, and you have set the table for a perfect meal with Choo Choo Barbecue. That's right, Choo Choo Barbecue. Why don't you give them a call right now? 423-843-9554. That's 843-9554. Call 423-843-9554. Choo Choo Barbecue. You know where it's located, off of Hickson Pike, right there at the Valley Brook area. Don't kid yourself. Your stomach is already on the way.
Don't be a victim. Arm yourself today at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range, offering the finest selection of personal firearms and ammo, especially the hard-to-find ammunition. You know the police can't protect you. They show up after the crime is committed. The ability to protect yourself, your family, and when called upon, your nation is enshrined in the United States Constitution. Shop the largest selection of shooting supplies on their online store. CarterShootingSupply.com. Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range. The largest and cheapest selection in Chattanooga. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099. That's 344-1099. Keep your family safe this Christmas by buying them a certificate for Carter Shooting Supply Tennessee Handgun Permit Class. And stop by today to consult one of their qualified experts. They'll fit you perfectly to the firearm that meets your needs. Call 344-1099. You'll always find the widest selection of new and used firearms at Carter Shooting Supply and Indoor Range. 6210 Highway 58, Harrison. Call 344-1099.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world. News Talk 1240.
AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, almost 2016. And I'm here with Bruce Krebs. Bruce Krebs, the Entrepreneur Source, the Entrepreneur Hour. Bruce, I'll be honest, when I was a kid, I didn't think I'd make it past 30. And now it's almost 2016. How great is it to be alive?
Unbelievable.
Every day. If you're not doing what you love to do every single day, you're not living. You're existing.
Well, not only that, is if you're chained to corporate America because of a steady paycheck that is not helping you reach your goals, that really is something you have to consider. And you know, if you're really that scared to do something full time and step out of corporate America, then do something part time or something passively, or get your kids involved, or do something to at least add incremental income to your household. But I can help you look at things that are full-time, part-time, passive. I mean, there's things that can make great incremental income that you can do 5 hours a week. And so basically, you know, people rack their brain and say, oh, I'm trying to think of all these things. What would be good in my area? And it's too hard to do on your own. I do this for a living. I've done it for 13 years, and trying to figure out what's right for you is impossible.
You're basically a personal consultant too, and you worked in corporate America for years. And let me tell you, this is the first time in my 40-year career in radio I've ever had a show on like this, because a lot of guys out there are hucksters, and you're the real deal, Bruce. And that's what I love about you, is that you have a 96% success rate. That if you want to take control of your life, don't reinvent the wheel. Get into a franchise that's not going to cost you any money with your signature. Listen, you pay taxes all these years. About time to get some of that money back.
Well, not only that, is you're right. I mean, you know, I'm a franchise consultant and a business coach, but I'm also a life coach. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a life coach, Sab, and my services are free because I get paid like a headhunter. You know, so there's no cost or risk or obligation for people to come and see me. So it doesn't matter where you are in the country. I work with clients all over the country. And you just have to really learn what's out there. That's the key factor.
And we want to tell anybody on Periscope, if you have a question for Bruce, just let us know here. You can type in your question, and we'll share it with him. I got a great idea for your next commercial. Hey, headhunter, right? Hey, no,
yeah,
just, okay. Is that racist?
No, that's not good.
Okay,
That's not good.
That's not good.
But getting back to funding,
I have some Indian in my blood.
I believe that.
Did you know that?
It probably goes with the Italian in you, right?
Exactly. What a dangerous combination, right?
Oh God, that's
Italian and Indian.
That's right.
Bred for war.
Oh,
you know, Roman and look out, baby, look out.
I hear you.
But do you have to be? Before we get into that, I wanted to ask you this, and I keep forgetting. Do you have to be of a particular personality to be to own a franchise or to be a business owner? A lot of people perceive, and I think it's a misconception, that business owners have to be aggressive. They have to be arrogant. They have to be out there. They have to be yelling at their employees. Is there a particular personality that you have to be to do this? Or can you just be fed up and want to serve your customer and the public and really control your own life? What do you say?
You're right. The misconception is that you have to be a type A personality or a good salesperson or a driver or whatever it is. And yes, there is a segment of the population that has that personality and that dynamic. And there's definitely opportunities that fit that type A personality, driven personality. On the other hand, that's only 20% of our population. The middle 60% is people who are mild introverts. They're not type A personalities. They're good project managers. They're good at organization. And then you've got another 20% who is really introverted, but they are good at managing a process or whatever. Now, the issue is that franchisors have realized that. So there is definitely sales, business to business sales, type of opportunities, but for the other 80% of the population, franchisors have figured out that they need to really help those people, particularly with the lead generation piece. So many franchisors have spent millions of dollars with search engine optimization, national accounts, with getting on Angie's List and all the different things that a franchisor does. Because then the person who's not the salesperson, who is a good project manager, but they're really good at answering the phone, going out and giving an estimate into a business or homeowner, sending their crew in to do the work, and then, of course, doing the quality control and getting paid. The perfect example I just gave with my clients is in Detail Experts here. He's a good project manager, right? He's not a sales guy at all. He's a good project manager, and he's a good presenter. He believes in his product and service. He knows there's a value, so he has no problem. But there's a case even the franchisor sets all those appointments. I mean, most people.
So he doesn't have to set his appointment.
He doesn't have to set his appointment. The franchisor knows that most people struggle with calling up that company and trying to set an appointment. So the franchisor has set up a call center where they call every account, and he has 3,800 accounts in this county, calls every one of them and sets appointments. And then as part of his training, the franchisor sends somebody down for a couple of weeks to go do the training and go, in other words, go make those calls with him and get him business immediately. So he has accounts that are his crews can go start doing the work immediately. So he starts generating income, but they hold his hand, get him accounts, show him how to make those presentations. But from that point on, they set all his appointments for him literally forever. So all he has to do is go in and make a presentation. He's not going to sell anybody at all. So franchisors have realized that through appointment setting, through search engine optimization for national accounts, that lends itself to a whole new breed of business owner and franchisee who's a project manager.
Okay, we have a question on the Periscope. How do I know the business is right for me?
Well, you won't without a lot of due diligence, meaning once I give you a bunch of ideas, you're going to spend about 3 months going through this process. You're going to talk to the franchisor through many, many conversations to really understand their business. You're going to have conversations with a series of franchisees. You get to call anybody that's in their system and ask them questions about how was the training and support? What are your challenges? What are your opportunities? How long did it take you to get make money? What's a day in your life? And what kind of gross and net you did first year, second year? You can then go visit the closest franchisee and spend a day in their life. See if you enjoy doing what they do. You can even go visit their headquarters. Now, I assist my clients through this whole process. And quite frankly, you will not know if this is the right opportunity for you for 3 months. This is not where I show you an opportunity. Oh, yeah, that's the right thing. Let's go. You need to do 3 or 4 months worth of due diligence and go through this process with my help. That you're going to do all this research on your own, and we will work together until we find you the right opportunity.
And this is why you have a 96% success rate.
Absolutely.
And how much will this cost me?
Cost you absolutely nothing.
So I don't pay you, not a dime.
Not a dime.
And where do I get the money to fund the business?
Well, first of all, if you go to the franchisor directly or through me, it's public knowledge what a franchise fee is. We're paid a portion of that to send people who would like to learn more about their business to them. So as a result, we're paid like headhunters. The franchisors compensate us, but we guarantee you.
Where do I get the capital to fund this?
Well, that's through this new small business low documentation SBA loan that we talked about. You'll get $100,000 to $150,000 on your signature, with no money down, no pledge of collateral, with a 10-year amortization. You can't lose your house. You can't be sued. It's a phenomenal program that, as I said earlier, Sab, 92% of my clients are using this program and using the government's money. Even if they have their own money, why not use the government's money for 10 years?
Now, can I pay myself while I'm working?
Absolutely. In other words, let's just give an example. let's say that it's going to, between a franchise fee and startup, it costs you $40,000. That means you got $110,000 left. Let's say that you need $4,000 a month to pay yourself, to pay your fixed expenses. If you look at $4,000 a month and you have $110,000 sitting in a line of credit there, that means that you have close to 2.5 years you could pay yourself from that loan.
Right.
So if you start to make money in 2 months and 3 months and build your business, you're not going to need most of that, so you pay it back. But it's sitting there, and you never have to worry about making money. There's unlimited use of the funds. You can pay yourself. You can buy a vehicle. You can do anything you want with that money. The SBA does not require you to show them where that money, what that money is being used for. The old SBA loans, you had to submit an invoice and get a draw. But this program, which is called the SBA Low Documentation Loan, does not have that criteria. It's a wonderful program.
One recommends at times to buy, build, and sell. Have a plan. If you're 45 years old and you were retired at 65, buy the business, build it, and sell it. Or buy the franchise, build it, and sell it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree with that totally. In other words, most people, if you look at today, 80% of people that are approaching retirement don't have enough money to retire. And the easiest way is when you go into business for yourself, there's a tremendous amount of tax advantages. So you're paying a lot less taxes because you write off a lot of personal and business expenses. At the same time, when you go into business for yourself, you build equity. So that when you come time that you want to retire at 55 or 60 or 65, whatever it is, you're going to sell that business for 3 to 3.5 times pre-tax earnings plus the assets. So if you're making $200,000 a year and you have assets, equipment, whatever, for a couple $100,000, you're going to sell that business for $800,000 to $850,000. That's a nice retirement.
That's very nice.
Or you can bring in a manager and take your management team and do a leverage buyout, or allow them to own 49% of it while they pay you a bonus based on profitability.
Take a monthly fee.
Well, forever, until the day you die. Now, when my father sold his company, my mother got a check every month until the day she died, which was basically a percentage of the profitability. So if you still own 51% of the business, you're going to get 51% of the profits until the day you die, but your manager is going to be making 49% of the profits in addition to a salary and a draw and other things too. So there's many different ways. In fact, I just have a client I helped in the business 8 years ago, came to me last week, and he's going to retire. His business is doing great. And so I'm in the process of helping him sell that business because he wants to buy a boat and retire. He and his wife retire, get out of the grind. But he's got a business that's worth $700,000.
So this is a win-win-win. You're going to get someone that fits this business, get him out of the business, and then you win by helping both people.
Absolutely.
Hey, how can you beat that?
Absolutely.
What is your website address, Bruce?
My website, the easiest one, is www.theentrepreneursource.com/B as in Bruce, Krebs, Krebs.
And your phone number?
423-875-5621.
Hot News Talk Radio, hotnewstalkradio.com. On Twitter, Hot News Talk Radio. At noon today, it's the Colin Cowherd Show. The number one sports guy in America is with us now. He made the switch. The Hot News Talk Radio, noon to 3, and then 6 to 9. You can check us out on Twitter for the latest weather updates. We were the only radio station in Chattanooga covering these weather flooding alerts live by Periscope and on the radio. And we were doing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when the weather turns bad, turn to Hot News Talk Radio at hotnewstalkradio.com, Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter, Hot News Talk Radio on YouTube. And listen, just type Hot News Talk Radio in, and you will find us everywhere. But I recommend you do go to our website, hotnewstalkradio.com. It'll stream instantly, and from there, you can get to all of our other sites here at AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. Bruce Krebs, the Entrepreneur Source. This is the Entrepreneur Hour. Why are you excited about 2016? What are some business things that are happening? Some events coming up. What are some of the exciting programs that you're looking forward to in 2016? And why should I make that move to become an entrepreneur?
I don't necessarily think you should make the move. I think you should investigate it. I think you should at least come and talk to me and learn what's out there. Because perfect examples have. Yesterday, I got a phone call from someone I worked with 3.5 years ago. I showed him some great options, but he decided to stay in corporate America, even though he was only making $42,000 a year. And he didn't like what he was doing, but he was chained to that paycheck. And he thought, I'm going to have this job forever. We called me yesterday and said he lost his job 3 months ago.
Oh, geez.
And he's been interviewing, and there's nothing out there.
And how old is he?
He's 42 years old.
Yeah.
So he's been interviewing, and he says, Bruce, I am tired of this. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to be not in control of my own destiny. I want to come in, and I've been racking my brain for ideas on my own. I can't come up with anything. And I remember how the great ideas you gave me. And so he's coming in tomorrow morning. And so what I'm excited about is the fact that it's easier than ever to go into business for yourself because you can get the money to do it.
Right.
You don't, and all you need is a credit score above 675.
And how important this is. I mean, do we know how important this is that you just said that? This is a shell blowing up in our face. This is how important this is that up until recently, to get a loan, you needed to have a personal guarantee.
And pledge your firstborn.
And you needed collateralize. I want to tell you a little story here. I was looking at expanding to many stations. I remember, and I didn't want to meet with a bank because I've never had a bank loan on a station, but I was talked into it. And I'm used to, if you need a tower, you cut a check. If you need that, you're just moving and grooving. And get this, I was to put up all of my collateral of 6 stations for their loan. And I couldn't make a purchase over $5,000 without their approval.
Right.
That was in the covenant.
Yeah.
That's the way. And if you fail, you lose everything. Everything you've built, you lose. You don't lose anything here. There's no personal guarantee. All the taxes you paid in for all those years that pay for everyone that isn't working, every schlock. And listen, I think some people may have a mental block with this. Is, I've never taken anything from the government. I don't want to. Just think of it as getting your money back. For not even one bomb. I think a bomb costs $750,000. They're going to give you $150,000, but you still have to pay it back. But the great thing is there's no personal guarantee. You're risking nothing. And 96% success rate says that you're probably going to pay it back and with interest. And in 20 years, retire, or 10 years, or 5 years.
And the reason they expanded this program is because of that 96% success rate. In other words, the Small Business Administration increased the amount of money they were lending because there was such a high success rate. So they made more money available because they know our government doesn't do many things right, in my opinion, but they do know that 90% of jobs are being created by small companies. And big corporate America continues to downsize.
They want that tax dollar.
They want that tax dollar. They want the employment numbers.
Right. They want you to hire people so you can collect taxes and send it to them. That is so important. And when they're employed, what are they doing? They're taking out bank loans.
Yep.
And they're building houses and they're buying cars. So this is basically the gasoline of the economy.
Right. They're employing people.
They're employing people.
Right. Exactly. And today, small business is the new black. And I think this is really neat because we're in the middle of an era where small businesses are valued over large ones in politics, popular culture, in the public imagination. And in a recent survey, customers said they favored small business because they like supporting the local economy and getting a more personalized service than is possible with a large corporation. So this is what this show represents. What you talk about all the time.
The Entrepreneur Hour.
And it's just like when we had Sandy Croft and Handyman Matters come on the show just a little while ago. She's doing great. 30 years in corporate America and got downsized. And now she's in a successful business where she's not doing the work, but her craftsmen that come into your home or business are all licensed, bonded, and insured, have builder's license, contractor's license, with a 1-year guarantee on their work at very competitive prices. They were in my home and did a phenomenal job. That's the kind of thing, though, that I like, a service business that has a strong reason to be against the competition. And so, it is definitely proven that another big reason to go into business for yourself, because you'll be happier. And most people think, oh, I'm going to work longer hours. Well, if you're in something that, I explain detail experts, it's a business to business service.
Right.
You can't work nights and weekends. Right. Maybe your crews can, but you're not going to.
Right.
And is it too good to be true? Is it easy? No. your first 12 to 18 months, you are going to work harder than you ever worked before when you go into business for yourself.
But it's a different kind of work.
Because
it's an exciting, you want to do it.
Yep.
Because you're building something for yourself. You're not being told what to do, but you're being helped along.
Yep. Absolutely.
You're there with them. The whoever they decide to accept the franchise, they're there with them. You're being helped along. Yet it's your baby.
Well, the other thing is, there's a good support team.
You know what it's like. I'll compare it to is your wife being pregnant, and I'm serious. It's like the baby's in there, and this is the first 9 months, and it's there, and you're rubbing the belly, and you're talking to your baby, and you're am I right?
You're gonna birth it. Yep.
And for the first 9 months, you're so excited, and you can't wait, and that's the feeling you get. You're not really working, but you're working.
Right.
You're like you're nurturing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're nurturing it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the success is when people say, not necessarily the money, which will come. Boy, I like what you do. Thank you so much. I am so glad you're in business. You made my life easier and better. That's what business people live for. They'll always tell you it's the money, but the money will come because you're serving others as a business person. Business people are servants. We serve others. If we don't, we're out of business.
Well, there's also a tremendous amount of self-satisfaction, ego, feeling good about yourself, and the fact that you're not reporting to someone who you don't like or making a company a lot of money. I mean, I made the company that I ran. Yeah, I made them $180 million. Yeah. They sold it. I myself, my management team got nothing.
Oh, you didn't get a little bonus?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And so, the trouble is that people fall into the habit of working for someone else. And the longer you do it, the harder that habit is to break.
You know what? It's like renting. You're just throwing your money away.
Yeah.
You're working hard for a business. They're not going to give you anything. Trust me.
But even
if you're not building it for yourself, you know what you're doing? It's a master-servant relationship.
Yep.
Employee-employer legally is called a master-servant relationship. Right. If you're an employee, you are legally a servant.
And I'll tell
become a master.
The other thing that people say is, well, I have to keep that because of my benefits. Well,
everybody in their stinking benefits.
But listen,
what is it with this?
But listen, most people don't understand when you're self-employed, your business pays your health insurance, your life insurance.
Right.
And at the same time, people don't understand that when you're self-employed, you can put $57,500 a year into your own IRA.
Oh, okay.
Now, so when you're self-employed, if you make $100,000 a year and you need $4,000 a month to cover your fixed expense, that means you can put $57,000 into your IRA. You will pay zero taxes.
Well, let's also talk about taxes. That people are so used to having all this money sucked out of their paycheck. Remember, when you have a business, there is no tax liability unless you have a profit or gain. And for the most part, now I'm not giving you legal advice, from personal experience and knowing accountants, just about everything you do to make profit and gain for your business is deductible.
Right.
So unless you have profit and gain, there is no income.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that. And I'll tell you why not. Because your business is going to pay for your health insurance, and it's going to all the things that you're now taking after tax dollars. Car payment.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about your business, not you.
But then you're going to take any profits. You're going to take a draw. So your business will technically not make any money, and you'll pay no business taxes. Right. You'll only be taxed once on personal. But then again, you can shelter that by putting so much money in your IRA. Those are all the things I help my clients learn. And there's a whole team of people that help you. It's not only the franchisor or myself. It's also the attorney, the CPAs. And there's a big support staff of people. It's kind of like having your own B&I group of people who are your advisors to help.
And the IRS, by the way, loves this. They love it because you have employees and you're taking money out of their paycheck and sending it to them.
Right.
So tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance is legal.
Correct.
So you can avoid taxes legally, but evading them is illegal.
Correct.
And you'll find the difference between avoiding and evading.
Right.
And most people are shocked to learn, really? The business took in $1 million and they made $200,000 profit and they only pay tax on the $200,000? Well, no, because there's also deductions on top of that. Simple thing like a car. If you have a car that you use for your business and you have the name on the side, whatever, who's making the car payment? Your business or you?
Business.
The business.
That's right.
The phone. The business.
Yep.
The business lunch. The business.
A lot of vacations, a lot of different things if you're doing business. That's correct. Your trips, your travel, a lot of things. But
it's all legal.
It's all legal. That's the tax law code of our government.
Title 26. Bruce, what is your email address?
My email is bruce.e as in Edward .krebs at comcast.net. And my phone number is 423-875-5621. And the website is www.theentrepreneurssource.com/B as in Bruce, Krebs, Krebs.
The Entrepreneur Source, Bruce Krebs with the Entrepreneur Hour. I'm going to try to talk you into coming back next week because you haven't been here in like a month. So I don't know if you're going to do it, but I'm going to try to get you back next week.
We'll try to do that.
We barely scratched any. Bruce always brings in all this material he preps. And we get to like a paragraph of it, don't we?
That's right. We do. One page out of 20. Yeah.
One page. So we need more time.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Thank you, Bruce. Once again, let's do your website again. This is obviously going to be at YouTube. We're broadcasting live on YouTube. You can watch it back if you just tuned in and didn't have a chance to see the whole show, or go to Twitter and watch Periscope, and you can see the first 15, 20, 30 minutes of Bruce and myself. But your phone number once again, Bruce.
423-875-5621. And my website is www.theentrepreneurssource.com/B as in Bruce, Krebs, Krebs.
If you ever thought about starting a business, if you ever worried about whether or not you were going to have a job, on your signature, and I love this, you can get up to $150,000 with no collateral. This is unheard of. Bruce doesn't make it until you make it. You pay Bruce absolutely nothing. So if you've been slightly thinking about making a move and doing it for yourself, becoming independent, here's the number you have to call.
423-875-5621.
And the website?
www.theentrepreneurssource.com/B as in Bruce, Krebs, Krebs.
And you can Gmail Bruce at?
My email address is Bruce, E as in Edward, Krebs, Krebs at Comcast.net.
I'm sorry, it's not Gmail, it's Comcast.
It's Comcast.
But you always
it's the same one, by the way, in Gmail.
Is it the same one in Gmail? Okay, good. You can Gmail them too. You can also Gmail us at hotnewstalkradio@gmail. hotnewstalkradio@gmail.com. I will pass it on to our buddy Bruce Krebs. AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, hotnewstalkradio.com. The number one host in America is next. Colin Cowherd.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDG.